See? Okay. Good afternoon and happy Thursday, Sangha. Just a few announcements before we get started today. So we, as the residents here, offered the novena prayers for the first 9 days of 2001 and weekly for the 9 weeks that followed. Moving forward, we will offer novena prayers starting next month on every third Thursday between 5:45 and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can send in prayers this entire time. You don't have to wait until that week. So please continue to send prayer requests to prayer@heartwoodrefuge.org. Heartwood is transitioning to some new and exciting communication tools. Stay tuned for more information and updates going forward. Events and retreats coming up. We had previously discussed a Friday fun night that was supposed to be tomorrow, and just with lots of amazing, exciting things that you'll hear that are happening here at Heartwood, and also Dina in our local Sangha, who's going to be coming back to support us with Friday Fun Night. We decided to hold off until next month to do our Friday Fun Night and really get everyone really excited for a fun event then. So please keep an eye out for information about that. But the Friday Fun Night that was originally scheduled for tomorrow will be postponed until April. Retreats, we have a Zoom, they're both Zoom retreats from April 15th to 18th. Metabolizing Emotion, the Art of Being in Touch with Yourself with Nick Krantz. And then also May 15th, Letting Go in 4 Stages with Martine Batchelor. So of course, go to our website to the retreat section for more information and to register. We will soon be offering some internship opportunities. These internships will be embedded into the 1-year Embracing Simplicity residential program. The internships will be focused on the areas of gardening, kitchen, and IT audiovisual. We will be posting more on the residency page of our website soon. In the meantime, if you are interested in more information, please email retreat@heartwoodrefuge.org. Venerable Panawati will be offering a study from a Mahayana discourse translated from Chinese to English on the Dharma related to the question, what is cultivation? This will be held on Fridays from 4 to 6:30. Look for a Zoom link on the Heartwood website. Thank you so much for all the Dana donations, love, and support that you offer us all the time. We really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions about how you can support Heartwood, please go to the giving section of our website. And last, but certainly not least, please like, follow, and share Heartwood on all your social media to help us spread the Dharma. Thank you so much.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, Sangha, and thank you all for showing up and being a part of this day. Now, on Tuesday, we had some discussion about the tragedies that occurred earlier this week. The shootings in Nevada and the shootings in Colorado. And we had some personal revelations about that, and I'd like to wind up today with a wind up on mass shootings. Because it seems that there's a posture and there's a theme that occurs every time there is one. And there's been one forever. So let's see if we can get this straight. Let's see if we can make some sense of this. Well, the first thing is that you can't make sense of it. There's no way that we can legislate our way out of this madness. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, whether you get all the assault rifles off the street or the high capacity magazines off the street, you still got people on the street. And the one thing that I agree with the NRA, and I don't agree with much, but I do agree with this, that guns don't kill people, people kill people. So let's start there and let's talk about that. Let's see if we can find some peace within ourselves. And in finding that peace within ourselves, that we can share this peace with our neighbors, our family, our friends, because in my opinion, we're sort of attacking the snake from the tail. That this is not about making guns safer for us. Because our biggest question and our dilemma and our fear is death itself. It's how can I keep from dying today? And the reality, in my opinion, is that you have no control over that. There's no control over whether I die today or tonight or tomorrow or the evening. The signs and signals that are present in samsara tell me that I will be pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised by the visitor of death or termination or ending in samsara. That I have no control over how and when. And I will be let know. And the one thing I do know is that it'll be inconvenient. That most people will not be ready to take the journey forward. That they will want to postpone it for a later time. There is one given truth in all of this experience and all of this dynamic, and that is that we're all going to die. So now, how do we address that? How do we come to grips, come to terms with that, and come to a moment or a centeredness of peace about that? So this is how I want to appendage our discussions today with our discussions that we had on Tuesday, to see if that we at least can go away with some clarity about what is all of this signaling to us, and how do we interpret it, how do we use it with wisdom and knowledge. This is the discussion for today. So first, I'd like to just take 5 minutes so that we can all go inside and think about the contemplations, and think about how do I, on a personal level, on an independent level, on an individual level, how do I cope with this reality? And is there any escape from this reality? So, I'm going to ring the bell, we're going to go inside for 5 minutes and contemplate this on a personal basis, and then we'll come out and discuss it and talk about it. Okay, let's open up the discussion to some wisdom and some clarity about these situations that are occurring on an almost daily basis. So who would like to talk? Who would like to share? Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So I guess I reflected on it from a few different perspectives. One is that, this really brings home that the people that passed away recently in this most recent incident, we're just shopping at the grocery store, and I do that 2 or 3 times a week. I'm just randomly at the grocery store, and I stop at 3 or 4 different spots. So this could easily happen to me. So I could die anytime, anywhere, not under my control whatsoever. And then trying to sort of get in touch with, which I think your comments about legislation and the tendency to want to sort of do something to prevent this, and the idea that government can. I guess what occurred to me was, the people that do this have convinced themselves, with or without the help of others, that this act is necessary for them to carry out. We can't manage the mind of others. Too many of these people don't get our attention until it's too late. Maybe there's some that do, and so maybe we can take better care in those cases. But I guess what I resolved to was that, I can only be my best self, hope that influences positively, and maybe uplifts or even changes the outlook of the people I come into contact with. If they had negative thoughts before I encountered them, maybe they had a change of perspective after encountering me. I know it sounds pretty random, but all I can be is my best self. Is kind of what came to me. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Jim. And I agree with you. It is a random situation. This is my reflection on the experience. That no matter how many weapons we take out of the hands of people, there's going to be someone who's going to find a weapon. A weapon can be a rock or a stick. We've had this desire to create or to manufacture the best weapon and have the nation with the best weapon in it. So that we're even going up into the space now with the space weapons. But the point is, as I agree with you, we can look at this that way, which is looking at it from hindsight, or we can consider contemplating on the time that we're given and think about how precious that is. That every morning or every evening when I wake from my nap, the first thing I do is give myself thanks that I've been given more time. That I'm still here, that I still have friends and I still have family that are not impacted negatively by episodes like the actions in Atlanta and Colorado. That everybody's okay, they don't have the virus. So what I'm saying to all of you is that My frame of mind is determined by what I put my mind and attention on. And when I am able to focus on and think about the blessings that I'm occurring right in this moment, as opposed to the terrible things that might happen in the next moment, my countenance is impacted by that choice. And I feel blessed by the fact that in this moment I've been given another day, another moment. Because I don't even know whether I've got today or not, as Job. And the situations expressed to us, when you leave the home in the morning, you don't know whether you're going to get back in the evening. And no matter how much you prepare, because again, the experiences educate us to the experiences and to develop within us the possibilities so that we don't become unreasonable in what it is that we expect to happen in our given day. For instance, the shooting in Colorado, one of the victims was a police officer. Now he's been trained in, control. He had weapons. He's been trained in how to make himself safe and how to make others safe in situations like this. And he died. So the point I'm making is that even if we ask for training and even if we ask for the best technology and the best weapons to survive a day, that doesn't guarantee that we're going to survive that day. So what do I do with the time and the space? Do I worry about what I don't have control over? Or do I embrace and enjoy the options that I do have? Do I construct a reality of joy and love and compassion, as we talked about on Tuesday? But for the reasons that there is a purpose for reminding myself that I'm a pretty lucky guy, that I woke up this morning and that I have this great day. I have no adversities impacting on my reality. That compared to those of Colorado and Atlanta and all of the other tragic situations that have occurred, Sandy Hook, all of them, Columbine, all of them, the concert in Nevada, we blamed it on this, and we blamed it on bump stocks, we blamed it on craziness, and we know that that's a given. You've got to be crazy to feel that going into a grocery store or massage parlors or concerts or churches or synagogues and killing strangers will somehow ease or give you peace in your own journey. I mean, that's just, to those who give it any thought at all, that's absurd. But we don't know and we can't govern, if you will, or put seeds in a person's mind that will make them see things my way. The only person that can see things my way is me. And so I then examine the reality and say, what choices do I have? Do I stop going to supermarkets? Well, I stopped going to massage parlors, so I don't do that anymore. But my point is, about what you can do to bring positivity into your day, to bring kindness and love into your day. And for me, I found that thinking about the gifts and the blessings short circuits the thoughts that worry about what might happen. So that's my share. So I'm open for, yes. I see a hand over in the corner.
Is this Nancy?
Yes, Nancy, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice
How's
to.
Brian?
He's good. He's on another call and missing this. Sorry. Um, yeah, Brian in his first year at Naropa, he lived, and when I would be there, about 5 blocks from that King Super, and it was our supermarket. But it doesn't matter. It could be our Ingles here or anything, and I appreciate your perspective. And the way, like you, I do every morning go, oh, I got another day. But I also do a death practice and meditation, and always a body practice where I just look at my body as the impermanent vessel that's holding me, and be grateful for it. And it has a lot of wisdom. You know, I can cognitively, as a physical therapist, know an awful lot of exercises and stretches and moves and things when I hurt to do. But instead of thinking, if I just am still and listen to my body, then inevitably I make the right moves to relieve what my body's discomfort. And so it's just what holds me. And I've been like this way before the pandemic and doing the death doula work. You know, it had started before that, but that really gave me tools, and I ended up becoming very organized about my thoughts on death, and talk to the children and loved ones about how I felt about it. And we didn't know if we'd survive the pandemic or not. And so we talked about it, and we believed we would, but we didn't know, and we never know these things. But a lot of my patients in times have said, why me, when they get a diagnosis that's terminal or something. And my feeling, which I don't tell them, is why not me? It's not something that anyone should blame themselves for their circumstances, I think. And but I have documents in order. I've told my children that I'm at peace, and I plan and hope to be here a long time. But if I'm not, just know that they're always loved. They'll always be loved. And I have folders on death poems and things I think will comfort them, which I'm happy to share with anybody. But it's something that I'm very grateful for this time. And like birth, death is just part of life. I love the twins talking to each other in the womb. Then they go, do you think there's life after birth? And it's a wonderful thing if you look it up. And, you know, so our talks about, is there life or something after death? It's no different, but we can have faith. That's.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
Sue.
Yes. Hi.
I'm Sid. I am from Northern Virginia. I've definitely been contemplating a lot and having, holding space and conversations with people within my community. And also our allies, definitely been moved by it. And, death is something I do think about, and especially being a new mom of a 1-year-old who is actually mixed. So I'm Vietnamese and his father is Black, and we actually named him Bridger, which brings together the two communities. And I feel like my purpose here is to allow love to overcome the hate and to speak it as loud as I can. And although I do find it difficult at times when I find that elders in our communities are being disrespected and harmed and even killed, but then having a level of understanding that people are going through circumstances and situations that may be out of their control. And sometimes they result to things that one should not, result to, but things happen. And so you have to realize that those are going to be out of your control in any moment, any given point in time. And being an Asian individual, there are biases, there are prejudices we have within our community, and having conversations and holding space for people to allow to speak their truth is such an important part, because a lot of us have learned to bite our tongue or hold, not be able to fully express ourselves in a way that a lot of other people are. And so giving people safe space to be able to communicate that, because one of the things that I struggle with is like, why are people not compassionate and loving and understanding? And I feel like we all have our own path and we're running our own race to finally get to that place where we can become more compassionate people. And so it's something I'm trying to understand and not try to pressure people to get to that point where I feel like I'm more at peace within myself, and just trying to exude that part of myself as our community is being affected by it, just to truly show solidarity amongst all people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Regina.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And I wanted to share that the best of my neighbors have been an African American couple, and we became such good friends. They took care of my kids and invited us for dinners all the time. And now the husband has died, and his daughter and granddaughter are in town. And the email exchanges didn't start out to go very well in the beginning, and I simply stuck to my intention to make her feel as welcome as I just whatever I could do just to make her feel welcome. And now she's in town with her daughter, and last night we went out for dinner, and it went really, really well between me and my daughter, and she and her daughter. And this morning we saw us for each other for the memorial service. We had planned it together. And we afterwards we just looked at each other and decided it had gone really well. And we'll spend the next couple of days together on and off, depending on what our plans are. And I feel so good to have followed my intention to simply make her feel welcome regardless of what she does. And it turned the whole story around. So there was just a nice moment that we're having together. And I'm sure it's going to be a good event for me to remember going forward, to stick to trying to make people feel welcome regardless of their action. I just stay with myself. Thank you.
Thank you. while we're waiting for someone to develop a conversation and share with us, one of the things that I want to throw out to you is that we want to ask ourselves, why is it that we, as individuals, when we find nodules of displeasure, irritation, um, why don't we, at that very moment of inconsistency with our practice, why don't we work with refining our own discrepancy? And so you've heard the announcement that there's going to be some study on what is cultivation. Pardon White is going to lead some studies on what is cultivation. Well, it's about the awareness, developing the awareness of thought that causes me to think or develop myself in a harmful way, and thoughts that cause me to develop and require that I develop in a positive way. And sometimes I hear people say, well, in my practice, when I have toxic thoughts about myself or others, that they seem not to realize that the next step in the process is to immediately bring in thoughts or energy that will destroy or nullify negative composition and create positive thoughts, create more compassion, more love inside myself than I find there through my meditation, through my exercises. So there's the opportunity to refine what I find as unwholesomeness inside. And there's always the understanding that when I elect to refine my thoughts and my actions, my karma, to something positive and wholesome, that is me giving back to the world all of the kindness and all of the friendships, the assistances that have helped me get through the day, that have helped me have more joy in my own movement of existence. So when you encounter those thoughts, when you find yourself not being perfect, but being imperfect, and you don't immediately address the problem and switch your frequency so that there will be a cultivation of goodness and respect, as opposed to some judgmental energy and anger about a person, that too will help me to cultivate the habit that impresses on the moment a positive thought that will cause me to fill my space and fill my time with good and kind thoughts about the other as opposed to irritation or dissatisfaction with the other. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, whether it is a loved one who sleeps right beside you or a stranger on the street that, according to you, qualifies for some slight. All of that is just me refining the interior landscape of my being and my purpose. So when you find yourself having those thoughts of someone else being undeserving, ask yourself, why don't you immediately work with remodifying that thought or remodifying that action so that it will relate to them in a very positive way. That's what we cultivate. So, no one's had any thoughts?
That's kind of what I was just thinking about before you spoke.
Oh.
It's just cultivating the four right efforts. And in my interactions with other people, something that I've been working on is trying to be present and open. And when I notice critical or judgmental thoughts come up, to recognize them and to pivot, to find what's beautiful, to find the positive qualities, and to cultivate in that direction. And the more I practice that, the more automatic or natural it becomes.
Doesn't feel forced.
It doesn't feel as forced. It doesn't feel as mechanical. And there's endless opportunity. So I've been appreciative of the teachings and the direction to go with that, because in putting it into practice, like I said, it's becoming more natural.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me speak. Panya Deepa, I was thinking of this quote that you mentioned from the NRA. People don't, or what is it? Guns don't kill people, people do. To which I always want to add at the end, which is why people shouldn't have guns. You know, it seems to me, because there's a lot about what we're talking about, which is very, very difficult to sort of parse out and to have real understanding of, which is fine. We're not meant to understand everything. But it seems to me that the avoidance of unwholesome thought, a part of that is the avoidance of misunderstanding. And when you look at something like what happened, as you know, in Colorado, as a tragedy, of course it's a tragedy, but it, you know, there's an aspect of it too, which is, I'm reminded of 9/11, because at 9/11 it was a terrible thing that happened, but after 9/11, over those few months, if you were paying attention, there were so many beautiful things that happened, which did not somehow negate the atrocity, but it was beautiful to see, you know, planes landing in the middle of nowhere and people opening up their homes to perfect strangers from all over the world. There were all sorts of beautiful things that were happening. And although I wouldn't say, well, that was the reason that that happened, because I don't have that kind of knowledge and that kind of wisdom. I would say that one aspect of the shootings that keep happening, it reminds me a lot when I feel that God is speaking. It's not like, he calls me up on the phone or something, but when I feel that God is speaking to me, I feel that the message starts out really, really soft. And as I keep ignoring it, it gets louder and louder and louder. And now we've had a week with 2 mass shootings in 1 week. And it seems to me that this problem keeps getting louder and louder so as to be noticed. In the same way, if we were to look at it more microcosmically, I feel like inside of myself, when I feel discomfort or when I feel a lack of compassion, that is actually for me very useful, because I know that it's something that I need to work on. And just in closing, I would say something that I say to all of my students. No one chastises God for refining his gold. So the goldsmith refines his gold and refines his gold. And I'm sure maybe for the gold, it's not the most pleasant experience in the world, but everyone is absolutely sure at the end that this beautiful gold is of great quality and value. And that's happening to us on an everyday basis, especially if we're on the path. So if you were to look at that in a sort of a much larger way, that is sort of happening in the world too. Our mistakes are being really, really put into bold face the further down the road, and not without correcting them that we get. Just some thoughts.
Thank you for those thoughts. They were great. Thank you. I think one of the points you're making is that for every problem, there's multiple solutions depending upon what development or what is the development of the individual that's bringing the solutions to the situation. And one size doesn't fit all. So if it makes us a better person, even though it's a tragic situation, there is some good that we can find, and we can mine in that, using your expression of gold, we can mine in that situation. So, yeah, this is what we're talking about, finding the good in the bad. Seeing the beautiful in the ugly. Yeah. Thank you. All right, if no one has anything else to say, share. Let's ingest.
I do have, I went up, you asked us to meditate for 5 minutes. Yes. And see how we get in peace with it. I realized that I do a lot of things that many people mentioned already, how to deal with it. And I say thank you every day when I get up. And what I realized when I was meditating is that I felt in my body that my fears are, I think the last minute of being alive, I don't know why, but that transition seems like I feel a little afraid of that. But what keep coming to my mind is this will pass, this will pass. And I also feel afraid that people that I love very much are going to pass. I feel more afraid of that than my own death. It's not a very big feeling, but that's what came to me meditating, and that came through my body. And also, I am not so afraid of dying. I feel afraid of like going through what my mother's going through right now, being bedridden for 7 years. That holds on me much more. And so when I am in that state, the way I cope with it, it's say it's not happening right now. It's not happening right now. And I keep asking myself, where am I? Where am I? Where's my body? Where am I? And that makes me really come back to the present and see what's happening around. But those fears are more prominent than my own death.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. All right. Let's go inside and take all of the messages that we've gotten today inside with us and see which of these messages will help us on our individual journeys toward the other side. I want to thank you for sharing your precious life with me. And don't forget to share it with others who are also needy. Yeah, we can always use more love and we can always use more wisdom. Thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Panajika.
You're welcome, my friend.